Welcome to the Party on the Fourth wine tasting. I was gonna bring my fireworks, but the fire marshal said I couldn't bring them in the bar, so I didn't bring those. So hopefully you got your own there at your house. So you guys have all these wines. If you're watching this, you've already bought this, so I'm just gonna go through it with you. We're gonna taste each of these wines. I'm gonna tell you a little bit about each of them, and you're gonna get some extra stuff too. So my name's Frank, and I'm glad you guys are doing this. Hopefully you got some friends over. There's a couple things you're gonna get in this package that are wine related, but it's not the wine. So let's go through those really quick first. First of all, you got this cool bag. This is our Muscadine Moscato wine bag. So if you're going over to a friend's house, you can take that Muscadine Moscato with you. Nice little bag for you there. You're gonna get that. There you go, check that out. It's really cool, there. Now, we're also gonna get some oyster crackers. Now these things, they are awesome on their own, but they're really good if you like oyster stew, clam chowder, or anything like that. Goes along with these wines awesomely, especially our Bryce's Creek. So if you like those kind of soups like that, these crackers, that wine, awesome meal. You're gonna get a pack of those. You can also use them in between your wine tasting. So if you're doing this with your friends right now, take these out, give them a little plate of them, and they can do that to cleanse their palate. So that's our garlic parmesan. Those are our oyster crackers. Then our final thing is going to be your muscadine barbecue sauce. Now, if you've never had our muscadine barbecue sauce, this is a great barbecue sauce. It starts out with a little bit of a kind of smoky flavor, but then you get that muscadine that kicks in. It gives you that sweet taste at the end. It's really good on ribs. I like it on chicken too. If you like chicken, it's really good on chicken. I'll even eat it on hamburger sometimes. It's just a really versatile, good, great barbecue sauce to use. And if you're interested in any kind of recipes or anything like that, you can always check out our dining wines on our website, look up our barbecue sauce, and there's usually a link to those in there that'll give you some ideas for those. But that's the muscadine barbecue sauce. I'm not gonna throw this one, I'll just lay this over to the side. All right, well, you guys are here to drink the wine, right? So let's get started with our wines. The first wine on our list, we're gonna start with a semi-sweet white, and this is called Midnight Magnolia. If you're looking for a nice, smooth, semi-sweet wine, this is my go-to all the time. We're just gonna pour a little bit of it there. And it is made with that Magnolia muscadine grape. Now we've got another couple wines. One of them is called Magnolia. Now that's our house Magnolia wine. This Midnight Magnolia, that is our estate Magnolia wine. So what that means that we actually grow the grapes for this. We've got some farmers that grow for us. We've got about 70 different families that grow some of our grapes for us. But if you ever get one of our estate wines, you're guaranteed that we grew those wines here in Rose Hill, North Carolina at our vineyards. It makes for a little bit of a smoother tasting wine. So let's give this a taste. Cheers, guys. I'm telling you, that goes down so smooth. Now, if you have our house Magnolia, it's gonna have a little bit more of a bite to the end of it, whereas this one goes down a lot smoother. That's because we grow these ourselves. The other thing that makes an estate wine is that it's a cold fermentation. So when we ferment this at around 52 degrees. Normally, our wines are fermented anywhere between about 65 to 70 degrees. That cold fermentation gives that smoothness also. And the other thing, just so you know, to make a estate wine, those grapes, you are not allowed to either fertilize or water those grapes after the first year. Now you can do as much as you want that first year, but after that, what ends up happening is it's pretty much up to the environment. So if you get a lot of rain, it's not always good for them, but if you get too little, it's not good. You just want that right amount. So that's what makes an estate wine. Now that is, like I said, that's one of our mid-sweets. You're only looking at about a 6% sugar content in that. We're gonna jump up now to our Bryce's Creek. Now this wine, you're looking at about a 10 to 11% sugar content. So if you like a sweet white, this is a really good one for you. It's gonna have a little bit more of a bite to it than that Midnight Magnolia. You know, I told you the regular Magnolia's got kind of a bite to it. The Midnight Magnolia does not, but this Bryce does. And what that bite is, you get a little bit of taste of the skins of the muscadine grape. Just to let you know a little bit about muscadine grape, it's a very sweet grape, but the skin on that is really thick and it's kind of a not a bitter taste, it's got a bite to it, kind of like a plum. So if you've never had muscadines, think of a plum. The inside of a plum is really sweet, but that skin has kind of a bite to it as you chew on that. The skins of the muscadine are the same. And some of our wines have that kind of finish on them where you get a little bit of that skin taste. Bryce's Creek is one of them that's got a little bit of that bite, but it is still nice and smooth. So let's give this a taste. Cheers, guys. Yeah, starts out smooth, but on the finish of that, and I'm getting it right now, you get a little bit of that skin, that muscadine bite that I call it, kind of that skin taste to it. That Bryce's Creek though, that is actually a blend of our muscadine grapes and a non-muscadine grape, and that non-muscadine grape's called the Niagara. That's one of my favorite wines that we have here, it really is. It's just smooth, it goes well with just about anything, but like I said before, if you like those soups like a stew, like a clam chowder or a oyster stew, that's a really good one to have with those types of meals. You can throw in your oyster crackers with that too. All right, so this brings us to one of our newest wines. This is called Muscadine Moscato. Now, Muscadine is a very sweet grape, so it makes for a very sweet wine. Moscato, if you've ever had Moscato, you know that's kind of a sweet wine. People who like Moscato, they usually like Muscadine and vice versa. So this year we decided to, why not, take that Muscadine and take that Moscato and blend those together. To our knowledge, this is the first time this has ever been done. And I'm telling you right now, this wine is just jumping off the shelves right now. Again, this is another super smooth wine. It's super sweet. It is about 10 times as smooth as that Bryce's Creek. I'm telling you, this just kind of, it's almost like velvet going down your throat. It's a really good one to pair with any kind of chicken, fish. It goes really well. I love cod, I really do. I love cod. And this one here, it really, really pairs well with any kind of fish, but I really like it with a cod or even salmon. I like it with salmon also. But let's try this. Cheers, guys. Oh. You taste that Moscato first. On the back end of that, that's when that muscadine kicks in. And you do get just a hint of that skin taste that gives it that special muscadine flavor that you get in a lot of our muscadine wines. This one's awesome, guys. You're gonna love this one. But that's gonna bring us to our next wine, and this one is called Southern Mist. So if you like that Muscadine Moscato, this Southern Mist is the same wine, but this actually has some effervescence in there. So we put some sparkles in this wine. So if you're one of those people who love sparkles on their jeans or on their shirt or on their shoes, you're gonna love this wine. It's got that sparkle to it, you know, those jazz hands. So this is our Southern Mist. It's gonna have the same taste, but it's gonna have that nice sparkle on the end of it, that effervescence. This one, oh, it smells so good. So let's just taste it. Cheers, guys. That effervescence, that kicks you right away. That sparkle, you feel that right on your tongue, and then you get the taste of that Muscadine Moscato in this. Now, I will say this, if you like mimosas, this is a really good one to make with mimosas. Now, I've done orange juice with it, and I've done pineapple. I prefer the pineapple over the orange juice, but they're both really good, so whatever your preference is there, those are really good morning drinks. If you're with somebody who's doing a Bloody Mary and you like mimosas, this is a great one to do with mimosas. We're gonna be done with all of our whites there, okay? So now we're gonna flip over and we're gonna do some of our reds. We're gonna start out with one of our driest reds. We actually make one red that's a little drier than this, but this one's called Burgundy. Like I said, that Midnight Magnolia is a 6.5. All these three are 10 to 11. So we're going back to the dry side. And this one reminds me a little bit of, not a Merlot, but more of a Pinot Noir. So it's gonna have a little bit of a sweet taste to it, but more of a fruity sweet. So it's not gonna be in that 10% range where it tastes like the grape exactly, but it is gonna have a little bit of that fruity taste. So let's give this a taste. Here's the Burgundy. You do taste a little bit of sweetness at the beginning of that, but the finish is really dry for a muscadine grape. You get that fruity taste, like I said, but not all of that sweetness. That Burgundy now, if you're not a big fan of dry reds, this is a good one to cook with. So if you've got a beef roast, say like a rump roast or any kind of roast, you can buy a cheap cut of beef. You don't have to have anything expensive, because what you're gonna do, you're gonna take a bottle of that and that roast, and you're gonna marinate that overnight. And then the next day, throw that in a crock pot with the wine and let that cook all day. When you get home that night, you're gonna have a nice tender piece of roast, and then just thicken up that juice that's in there and make a nice gravy. That'll go over either roasted potatoes, mashed potatoes. It's an easy meal, and it's really, really good. One other little tip for you. If you like your reds chilled, that's great. I like this one personally, not chilled. So what I do with this, I'll open it right off the shelf, right out of my, not refrigerator, but right off the counter there where I keep some of my wines. I'll open it up and I will drink this one not chilled. I just like the taste of it a little better. So give that a try, if you get a chance. But that's our Burgundy. That's one of our driest reds. Now we're gonna go to a mid-sweet red. This is called Pelican Red. You're looking at about a 7 to 8% sugar content in this. And this is actually a blend of some of our muscadine grapes, the red muscadine grapes we use, and a grape called the Pink Catawba. Now, the Pink Catawba, you find that more in upstate New York. I got friends of mine, family of mine that live in Ohio. They have a lot of Catawba grapes in their wines also. But a lot of my favorite wines of ours are those that blend the muscadine and non-muscadine, and this is one of those. And it's one that's not overly sweet too. So if you're more on a mid-sweet taste, this is a really good one for you. Let's give this a taste. Oh, it smells good too, man. The smell on that, you gotta smell it before, I'm telling you. Oh, it's so good. You definitely taste a big difference in the sweetness between your Burgundy and this Pelican Red. It's a great wine. Again, some of my favorite bars are the ones where we take our muscadines and non-muscadines, mix those together, blend those. This is one of my favorite, easily one of my top 10 favorites of ours. And it's called Pelican Red, just so you guys know. When we opened up in North Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, it's been 8 years now, in 2015, we partnered with the Myrtle Beach Pelicans. They wanted a wine that they could sell down there. So we came up with this Pelican Red, and they sell this down there, but they also make something else down there. And we're gonna talk about that at the very end. I'll tell you what that is. As soon as we get through these wines, we'll talk about that other thing. But we're gonna switch over now and go to a sweet red wine. This is called Hatteras Red. This is about, like I said, about a 10 to 11% sugar content. This is one of our best sellers. And if you see the label on this, it's got the Hatteras Lighthouse on it. Now, a lot of our labels do, but this was actually the first wine that we made with that Hatteras Lighthouse on it. So that kind of became our signature, was that Hatteras Lighthouse. And I mean, it's our logo, for goodness sake. So that is the Hatteras Red. It smells so good, I'm telling you. It's a blend of all of the red muscadines we use. But let's give it a taste. Cheers, guys. When I drink that wine, I grew up in North Carolina, right outside of Winston-Salem, kind of out in the country. We would go out in the woods, and we would find these muscadine grapes growing in the trees. The vines use the trees as support. So you'd be walking through the woods. When you're a kid, you see these grapes hanging in the trees. We'd pick them and we'd eat them. I like the skins on them. So I would eat the skins and the flesh and spit the seeds out. A lot of people, what they'll do is they'll pop them open and they'll throw the skin on the ground, not eat the skin. I like the skin. I like that sweetness and a little bit of that bite on the end. This Hatteras Red, that reminds me of when I was a kid, just walking through the woods, picking those out of the trees and just kind of spending the day outside in the woods until dark. You know, you came in and you had that dirt ring around your neck. That's what that reminds me of. But we're gonna go to our next one. This is gonna be one of our blushes. This is called Scuppernong Blush. Now, Scuppernongs are a little bit different. They're still a muscadine grape, but most muscadines, they tend to be anywhere from about the size of a dime to about the size of a quarter. Your Scuppernong blush, and you'll find these growing in people's yards. Most people, if they're gonna actually grow their own muscadines, you'll find that they're growing the Scuppernongs because they're a little bigger. They're usually about the size of a quarter up to the size of a silver dollar. If you guys that may not know what a silver dollar is, it's about that big around. I mean, they're big. So these tend to be a little bit bigger. My theory on that is the reason people grow these in their yard is if you've got bigger grapes, you don't have to pick as many to make your jams, jellies, and all that kind of stuff. Just a theory, but I don't have any proof, but that's my idea on that. But the Scuppernong, it's also a golden looking grape. A lot of muscadine grapes, they're like a deep dark purple color. The Scuppernong tends to be on the golden side, and then as that grape goes up towards this, where the stem goes in, you kind of get little purple dots all over the top. It looks like little purple freckles. It's a very sweet grape. Most people, like I said, that are growing them in their yards, that's what they're using. But this is a blend of that and some of our red muscadine grapes. So let's give this a taste. Cheers, guys. The thing I like about that one, you get a little bit of that sweet taste at the beginning, but the finish on that has that bite that I've been talking about a little bit. That's a pretty strong bite on that too. So I like that one a lot because I do like that bite. I do. Some people don't like that. I do. One other thing about this is our highest in antioxidants. You can look up online what antioxidants do. Do that for yourself. I'm not going to tell you. To give you some homework. So everybody loves homework, right? So let's go to our next thing. Our next wine, this is going to be our Sangria Red. Now, in 2015, when we opened in North Myrtle Beach, that same year, we came out with our Sangria Red and our Sangria White. The Sangria White is a blend of our white wine grapes with some lemon, lime, peach, mango thrown in there. The Sangria Red is a blend of our red muscadine grapes with the same fruits blended in there. So you got a little bit of lemon, lime, we got a little bit of strawberry in there, a little bit of mango, a little bit of peach. The red, to me, you taste that muscadine at first, but your finish on this, you're gonna get more of that strawberry flavor. Whereas the white, I get more of the mango and peach flavor. So let's give this a taste. Cheers, guys. Oh, that is just so sweet and fruity tasting. If you like a fruit wine, this is a great one. Because you get that muscadine taste, first of all, but then you get those fruits in there. Like I said, I get more of the strawberry, a little bit of peach, but I get a lot of strawberry in that one. Another cool thing about this one, I was at the Little River Shrimp Festival, which is in South Carolina. This was, like I said, when we were first opening. And we were giving samples of this out. That's all we had there that day. And people were going crazy over it. So when we opened the winery, one of our bartenders, I believe it was Kay, she was out at our service bar and somebody came up to her and said, you know, I love that red and I love that white sangria. How about mixing those together for me? So she did what he asked, or he or she asked, poured those wines together into a cup, blended them together right there in the glass, gave it to him. The person that it was took a sip of it and was like, God bless America, that's good. So lo and behold, within the next month or so, we had people coming up asking for the God bless America, and that was a blend of our red and our white sangria. True story. I promise you that really happened. So then, a couple years later, we came up with the Sangria Rosé, which is that already mixed together in a bottle. And the funny thing is, we still have people come up and say, I want the God Bless America. I don't want the Sangria Rosé. I want you to mix those in front of me right now. And they like it even better than the one that's already mixed in the bottle. So the way I see that, great. We're selling 2 bottles instead of 1. All right, so our last wine that we're gonna try, this is our blueberry cotton candy. Now, we've come out with a whole line of cotton candy, and personally, between this one and the peach, those are my 2 favorite. We got a lime cotton candy, we got a peppermint cotton candy, we've got a regular cotton candy, then we got the peach, and we got the blueberry. My top 2 favorite are the blueberry and the peach. I really don't have a preference between the 2. If I had to, and somebody told me if you don't choose, you'll never get to drink either of them again, I'd choose the blueberry, honestly. It's a little bit, to me, I like it a little bit better than the peach. But it's got that cotton candy taste at first. And the way we did that, we blended our muscadine grapes together, and then we added some berry in there and vanilla. And what that did was that vanilla mixed with that muscadine, that berry taste, give you that cotton candy taste. So that's what our original cotton candy was. So when we came out with these different flavors, we just switched those berries around, and on this one we used blueberry. So you get a little bit of a blueberry taste in this. Now this one here, to me, the peach really, it kicks you right in the teeth. So when you first taste the peach, you get that peach flavor first. With this one, I think you get more of the muscadine taste, and the blueberry flavor is on the end of that, and it's kind of subtle, but it's really good. Yeah, that blueberry, it's just now kicking in. First taste that you get that muscadine, blueberries on the end of that. There's a couple things you can do with this one also. We do a tea with our peach. If you mix a little bit of your peach blueberry wine with some sweet tea, that's really good. I've done it with the blueberry too, and I like that. It's a nice blueberry tea. So that's something you can do with that. There's a couple more. Like I said, if you want to check out some of our videos, we do a dine and wine video on our website. Check that out. Look up blueberry cotton candy, and it'll take you to those different videos if you want to check those out. Now, I told you that there was something else that we were going to talk about. We talked about the Pelican Red, and we finally gotten there. So this is our Pelican Red Rush. You can get this at either of our wineries. You can order it online, but if you're ever down in Myrtle Beach watching the Myrtle Beach Pelicans, there's a tent down there where they have the Pelican Red Rush Sweetser. Now, you say, Frank, what is a Sweetser? It's a wine slushy is what it is. So you're gonna get this in this package. So you've already opened your package, you've seen this in there. Let me explain it to you a little bit. So in this box here, you've got two separate bags. Those bags are filled with what looks like Kool-Aid before you mix it with water. You're gonna take one of those bags, half a bottle of whatever wine it calls for. In this case, on the back, it's gonna call for the Pelican Red wine. Now, if you don't have that at home, but you have this, you can always use a semi-sweet red wine, and it tells you that there too. So it's gonna give you an option in case you don't have our wine or you can't get a hold of our wine. So then you're gonna mix half a bottle of that, one of those bags in here. Make sure you get all of that powder melded in with that wine, and you're gonna pour that over a blender full of ice, blend it up, and this is what you're gonna get. Now this is our Pelican Red Rush Slushy. These things are good. Cheers, let's try this. Oh yeah. It's got a little bit of a tart taste to it. So you get that sweetness and that tartness with this one. This is one of my favorites, this and the blueberry. We've got a blueberry, it's called Blueberry Freeze, and it's one of our wine sweeteners also. Those two are two of my favorites of all the ones we have. Now, the nice thing about this, if you do have underage people with you, and you're gonna take these, and let's say you're going down to the lake, you're going on a picnic, going to the beach, wherever you're gonna go, you can make one of those that are in here, do it with the wine, take the other one, do it with either, you can do a grape juice, we have a non-alcoholic wine you can use, blend that up. That way you've got a pitcher for those who are drinking and a pitcher for those who aren't. So if you've got grandkids, it's a lot of fun for them to do. I've got a niece, when we do this, we make hers without the alcohol, we make ours with the alcohol. And then when it's time to go to bed, we switch it up and she can go right to sleep. I'm just kidding, we don't do that. All right. It's a joke. Don't do that. You'll go to jail. So, guys, this has been fun. I hope you guys had a good time. I hope you learned some stuff about our wines. And until next time, you guys have a great July 4th. Go out there, shoot off some fireworks, and come see us at the winery. This is Frank. I'm out.